What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode in the Unleashed Potential Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Haji, as always, alongside the boys, Mr. Elmi, Jabar, Hassan. How you guys doing?
What's going on, man?
Alhamdulillah,
I'm
man.
surprised you remember the name since we switched.
Correctly this time as well.
You looked at me and you said,
He was there, he's like,
said Elmi. So
Well,
you looked at me, you said Elmi, then you looked at him and said Jabar.
He looks straight at him.
I don't know how that happens every time. Wallah, it's just, I don't know, Wallah, but at least I got Omar Hassan
one
despite
right.
him
One out of
sitting
three.
beside. Because are you sure I said Elmi instead of Jabar?
100%, man.
Okay. Nonetheless, how you guys been, man?
Good, man.
Alhamdulillah.
Pretty. Time flew, man. Weeks go by fast now.
Yeah.
I think it's now it's already late February, early March-ish.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah, it's 1st of March, isn't it?
Nah,
29.
I think tomorrow.
No, it is. It's today. Today's
Today?
1st of March.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Wow.
damn.
SubhanAllah, man.
2 months gone.
Yep. 1 quarter down almost.
Almost.
man.
This is gonna go as a blur, man.
It's
And then,
fast.
and then what? Ramadan is
Next
April.
month, inshallah.
End of April, eh?
end of April. Yeah, wallah, it's crazy.
Next month.
24th April.
Bro, in a couple of years, we're gonna have Ramadan during summertime for us.
And that's when it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
That's when you
Yeah.
travel.
Ramadan
That's when you go.
Hey,
back home.
That's when I'm
every
gonna go
time.
visit my family over in Sweden because it'll be winter time for them,
You'll be
and the
fasting
sun
for
comes
3
up around
hours.
7 o'clock and it drops by 3 p.m.
Get out of here.
during the winter. Yeah.
Sweden, eh?
Yeah, 6-7ish.
Nice.
But then they've had the hard yards the last how many years, 11 hours fasting and whatnot. But alhamdulillah, aside from that, how you guys been?
Alhamdulillah, man.
Yeah, good, man.
How's your
Alhamdulillah. Wallahi, week's been busy, but good, man. It's constant, It's not too...
It would be worrying if it wasn't busy in the beginning of the year.
No, actually, like January, February is usually a very slow year.
Yeah.
Slow month, sorry. Simply because everybody's still trying to return back to work and trying to get into the whole swing of things,
Yeah.
They just start picking up around March and stuff, but I don't know. It's been...
And then the financial year hurry and everything.
Yeah. So, alhamdulillah, so far it's been good, man.
Alhamdulillah, that's
Yeah,
good,
you're
man.
lucky with that
Mashallah.
because I work at a hospital, so most of the doctors are gone in like December, the Christmas and New Year's period.
Yeah.
And so they'll get a lot of the cases and patients out the way, and then they come back and then everything's waiting for them, so it becomes
Bulked up, yeah?
it becomes really busy. This whole week has been like packed, but it's been good, alhamdulillah,
It's
because it goes by
amazing.
really quick.
It's
Yeah.
amazing how the world works, yeah.
Yeah,
Some
yeah.
industries,
Different
it's
There's
industries,
always
yeah.
someone somewhere else,
it's busy, yeah.
And then Elmi's just cruising along throughout the whole
Yeah,
year.
either way, yeah.
Such is life.
Man, I'm still... I'm on holiday, but not on holiday. Alhamdulillah, life's good, man. Can't complain.
Still going fishing?
He's on a working holiday.
That's it. You have the
Nah,
incursion,
not really,
that's cool.
wallahi.
Yeah.
That's what it's having.
Not really, man. Just, I've been busy. Doing other things like alhamdulillah, but I can't complain.
Alhamdulillah,
Life
that's
is
good,
good. My fridge is full. I'm healthy. Alhamdulillah, bro.
Alhamdulillah.
That's it, my
Alhamdulillah.
brother.
That's the most
Alhamdulillah.
important thing.
Good,
Yeah,
man.
bro. I can't complain, bro.
Man, let's get into today's topic, man. Today's topic is a topic that I think it affects everybody, but it's not taken as seriously as it used to be, I think, back in the day, especially with the younger generations. I find it a lot more common that they're lacking in this aspect. And I'm not saying I'm any better, but I'm just saying when you look at some of the older generations and our generation and the ones coming up, there's a major difference in the standards when it comes to this, and it pretty much is your word being your bond, the importance of keeping your word, right? If you ask our grandparents, especially like if any of you guys have traveled back home, been around grandparents like that older generation, and you ask them, what is a man? Like just you ask them, what is a man? Even from a male's perspective, right? They tell you a man first is a man is the one who keeps his word, right? Keeping your word was held at a standard where it's just unreachable. And today, I don't think that really translates into the younger generations. Do you guys agree with that? Is that something you guys see?
Yeah, I think we've relaxed the whole rule around trusting someone's word. I don't know what happened along the way, but there was it may have been due to our parents as well, because you never know. Sometimes they would say, inshallah, we'll, I'll get you this, or inshallah, and then
And it never came back.
Yeah, we realized inshallah meant no, and so we were sort of taught along the way. But I don't know, growing up, well, my dad firmly, or my mum even as well, like if she firmly, either of them said that they were going to do something, consider it done. Like it was definitely done. A lot of the other, like the older generations were similar in that sense as well. Just as soon as they said that yes, that's what they're going to do, it's not only the fact that they put their mind to it, but it's the fact that they've told you, and now you are going to hold them accountable and look at them different. And so that they don't face that, that in itself becomes a motivating factor as well. So they go out and actually do what they said that they were going to do.
And did that have an effect on you when you said that you would do something and they knew that you said you're going to do it? Like it was expected back as well?
It does to an extent, but at the same time, like even to me, sometimes if I say that I'm going to do something, I actively try and do it. But you know, this day and age, sometimes it's like very complex. Sometimes we say things that we don't realize that we are capable of doing, you know, and we sort of overstretch ourselves, and overcommit to certain things. Either at the time it's nice to say, or at the time you're feeling proud and you sort of make a promise and you're happy, you know, as the saying goes, don't make promises when you're happy, and don't curse someone when you're angry or something like that. It's similar. So don't make promises when you're happy. Why? Because sometimes when you're happy you overcommit, and so you stretch yourself too much, and then eventually you might not actually pull through. So I am very careful about what I promise or what I try and do. There are instances, and I'm going to be honest, there are instances when I have sort of promised that I'll never do something again, or I will do something, and I've just failed. But knowing to myself that I failed, sometimes I just reflect on it and I'm like, why couldn't I keep that promise? Like, what happened? You know? And then a lot of the times what I try and do is I reflect back on this one incident that happened with my dad. Was when my younger brother was when my mom was still pregnant with my younger brother, and she was due, soon. My father basically looked at me, and he was smoking. He was a smoker for like 30 odd years, and he looked at me and he said, "This is going to be the last cigarette that I'm going to smoke," and he puts it down. I have never ever seen him come close to a cigarette since ever. He despises the smell of it.
30 years plus smoking.
30 years plus cold turkey. The fact that willpower was so strong to actually carry through until now. My younger brother now is like, what, 18 years old? So 18 years, still going strong.
MashaAllah.
With things like that is like, you have to do, because there's promises you give to other people. I'll do this, I'll meet you at this point and stuff like that. But there's promises you make to yourself, like, I'm going to stop this habit. With those, you can kind of tell when someone's going to like live up to it, because they're telling themselves more than they're telling you. It's like you're just there to witness them telling themselves, like, I really mean it and I'm going to change in this moment, rather than someone judging them going, yeah, you're right, I'm going to quit. It's going to be the last one. You're more likely to do it again than you telling yourself, like, no, like, you probably had like an epiphany, like in that moment, it's like, I can't do this. We've all had like those moments where you just stop cold turkey, or you start something. It's just because you have this moment of realization where like you kind of just connect with who you are. You're like, all right, I cannot do this. This is not what I want to be. Like, I got to stop. And then there's others, like you said, not just happy, like just making decisions when you're emotional. That's why they say lay down. That's why they say do your wudu when you're emotional, stuff like that. You got to get yourself out of the state of emotion, because when you're really emotional, you don't really think logically, So you might be like, oh yeah, I'll make it after work tomorrow. We'll meet up. And then next minute at work, you're like, I went to the gym in the morning. I did this. There's no way I have time afterwards. Like, why did I make that promise? Because you weren't thinking logically. It might be, sometimes I'm guilty of it too. I'll make a promise and then I'll go home, and then like an hour later I was like, I shouldn't have said that. Well, I'm going to call the person up and cancel now rather than later, because you're emotional in the moment, So, and I think now, because of entertainment and all that sort of stuff, and people are so connected and they're trying to please a lot of people, they are in that emotional state and they do talk a lot. So rather than making promises and keeping to your word, I think holding your tongue is a strong one too. Like knowing when to speak and when not to speak. Because some people you see them kind of like, I'll do it. Like they kind of pressure into it.
That's a no, bro.
Huh? You know it's a no. You know when someone's like gonna say no or not. Like I know some people will be like they have tells. Yeah, it's all right. We'll do it.
It's like you call them
I'll
up,
suss it out.
You know a classic one. Yeah, inshallah. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I'll sift it. And then you go on the phone to him, like, he does that pause. Then you like, okay, 50-50, yeah.
Let me ask you.
Yeah.
What does the phrase "your word is your bond" mean to you? What does it mean to you?
First things first.
Yeah.
I'm very bad at keeping my word. Bro, I'll be straight up honest, bro. My word, my promises, I suck at that, bro.
Yeah.
I live my life in my own lane. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, in all seriousness, when someone says, "Look, I'm gonna do this or do that," obviously try to keep it. It's very hard in this age that we live in. Like, for me, if someone told me, you know me, I'm very bad with time. Be here 6 o'clock on the dot. I'm the last one here every day for the podcast. Be here 6 o'clock on the dot.
We can attest to that.
I'm not going to be there 6 o'clock. I'm going to be there 6:10, 6:15, 6:20. I actually try to be on time. Like, you know, there's always something that holds me back. I try to leave the house, this, that. But the thing is, I'm the type of person, someone says, bro, I need help tomorrow.
Yeah.
If I say yes to him, I'm definitely going to be there, bro.
Yeah.
And all the boys know that for a fact. But with promises, man, I made some stupid promises
then
but
it's
coming
just a
back to the
matter
question,
of-
I made some stupid promises which, man, so bad ones, bro. I
Yeah.
said I'm going to stop doing this, I'm going to do that. I don't do nothing, bro. I'll be honest with you, straight up. Allah's my witness. But I come back to the question. It is very important to keep your word, because even I'm pretty sure Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, you know, obviously, like when someone asks you, or someone asks you to do a favor, or like your word is your bond, like type of thing. Like I don't know how to explain it. My English, my vocabulary is very bad. But anywho, come back to the point is just keep your word, like, you know what I mean. Obviously, especially to your loved ones, you know, your mother, your father, you know, your partners and all that. They're the important people to your life, obviously, but at the same time, you know, you can be like a snake and sift out of the word of the. How many times I told my mother, "Oh yes, 100%, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna do this." She told me to do this. I don't do nothing, bro. Astaghfirullah, bro. I'm a bad human being, but we're human beings. You know what I'm saying? No one's perfect, bro.
True.
But inshallah, one day I'll change.
Inshallah.
Yeah.
No, but see, you've mentioned a very, very important point, which I wanted to get to next. Is I think a lot of people try to keep their word, but they look at the different scenarios, right? So a classic example that you said is if a mate tells you be there 6:30, you know it's just to catch up, whatnot. You say I'm gonna be there, but you're not gonna keep your word, right? But then if it's I need help tomorrow, I'll be there. I got you, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of people think, okay, my word is only important when it's like my word will be kept only if it's important, right? But then if you're breaking your word every other day to me when we're linking up and I'm making plans to, you know, even if it's just to catch up, I'm sacrificing other plans to spend that time with you.
Don't go far. This Friday, we were supposed to link up.
He was supposed to come to me.
I told him Wednesday after Juma, I'm going to be at your house. Don't worry, but I'm free. I'm going to be there.
They called me the night before.
The night before.
Bro,
I didn't even call him. I didn't walk up. Nothing.
What were you doing the night before, right before you made the promise to him?
He was kicking it with the boys.
There you go. He's like, I need to have another moment like
this. He was
this.
free at that moment too.
I was free. I was free after Juma.
Yeah, but see,
I flopped it hard.
But the point there was, he said, look, I'm going to come to your house. I said, okay, after Jum'ah, anytime after then, until Maghrib. Because Maghrib, I have to go somewhere. Between after Jum'ah until Maghrib, I'm free and I'll be at home. Now, I'll be at home means I'm not going to make other plans. Because after Jum'ah, when the day we're off, that's when you make plans. I'll be at home. Alhamdulillah, one of the other brothers pulled through. So I had a bit of company at home. But I sacked all the other plans because I knew Elmi was coming home.
Bro, astaghfirullah.
And then,
bro, I'm not the best human being, bro. Guled sent me a snap of him there. I opened it. I was going to reply and call Haji. My mind went somewhere else, bro. And I totally forgot about it. And I saw him today. I said, bro, Iskara brother. Sorry, man. I missed that. But this is not the first time.
So let me ask, that's the reason you picked the topic today? To get back at him?
Probably,
Possibly,
you never know. But I think that's a really important thing. People choose to keep their word based on what they think is important, but they don't see that all these other times where you think it's not important might be important to this other person, and then that drops you in the list of priorities, right? So now if I know Elmi, every time I tell him let's kick it, he's not going to make it, then I'm going to be like, okay, well, that day that I am in need of help, He's not going to be the first one that comes into mind. Even though in our experiences, it's pulled through, alhamdulillah. I'll give you credit where it's due, right?
He knows, man. If he needs help, he's the first
but see, I know you like that. But then right now, you met somebody new.
Yeah.
You know,
that's true,
and all they're seeing is these times that you're not pulling through. They don't know that, in a serious situation, Elmi's going to rock up. But they're going to judge you pretty much based on what your word is to them. You know what I mean? That's why it's like your bond.
I think other people judge whether they should keep their word or not based on the person they're keeping it to as well. There's some people that go like, oh, that guy, nah, you got to keep your word, otherwise he's going to get really angry. You know, he's going to say the word to you. That guy's a miskin guy. He'll let you slide a couple of times. You know what I mean? You can let it slide.
And your boss and your
there's a certain
parents,
boss that's on. You're like, I can take extra breaks. There's other bosses that you can't. Like you work with the person sometimes, and I think you can't be like that because in my experience, you see people. Just when you're in a group environment, if we're all friends and you're treating him differently, let's say you owe both of us money, you said you're going to promise to give it back, but because Omar Hassan's, the firm guy, you pay him back straight away, but with me, you're kind of lenient, you know what I mean? That it kind of causes rifts when you see that sort of stuff, and I see it happen, especially in high school, because high school, they pick on the younger ones, and the miskin kids, they get bullied a lot, and a lot of that was not straight up bullying. It would be stuff like, oh yeah, I'll make a promise, you lend me this, I'll get you back later, and never fulfilling that promise, and they do that to that person specifically because they know that guy's not going to do anything back, and we shouldn't have that habit because I won't trust you that way. Like if I see you treating someone like that, even if you're treating me well, I won't trust you. That's just who I am. If I see Elmi treating someone terribly and he's treating me really nicely, I'm like, okay, why is that? Is that person in a worse standing? Is he poorer than me? What is it that's giving you the right to treat that person?
But the thing is, obviously it's a beautiful trait to have. Like, I'm gonna to be punctual. Once you say your word is your bond. Once you promise someone something, or you come to an agreement with someone something and fulfill that agreement, it's a very good trait to have. But I'm pretty sure most people, as all us brothers, well, none of us are perfect. I'm pretty sure if I told you be there 6:30 and like Omar Hassan's late, I know, okay, he's got a family, he's got a daughter. His intention, he wants to be there 6 o'clock, but things pull you back. Like, you know what I mean? Life sometimes gets in the way, but I know it's too. I'd like. Yeah, but it's good to have that trait, but at the same time, don't. Okay, this guy, like first time meeting him, or this guy didn't rock up at this time, or he didn't do this. But then you shouldn't always judge straight away. You know what I mean?
Right? There's also the right etiquette. If I'm running late, I'm not gonna tell you at 6:30 that I'm gonna be 15 minutes late. I'll tell you at 6:15 that I'm on my way, but I could be 15 minutes later than 6:30, right? Yeah. But then it doesn't work when 6:30 is now and you're like, oh, I want to be 20 minutes late now. You could let me know beforehand, But then see, as you said that point there, it's a good trait to have. It's also mentioned in the Quran in reference to a certain prophet, Prophet Idris alayhi salam, when Allah goes through all the different prophets, and each prophet was, each prophet is known for something, right? Yeah. So one prophet is known for patience, salah, trust, wealth, everything, right? Yeah. And Prophet Idris alayhi salam, in the Quran it says Sadiq al-Wa'di, the fulfiller of the promise. Prophet Idris alayhi salam was known to be that kind of person back in his time when there's no calendars and times and whatnot. You tell him 3 weeks from now I'll meet you after Salat al-Asr, right? He'll be there regardless whether you come or not. Like that was one of his traits, and it's really, really important. If we go further than all these other little things, not little, but like all these examples that have been brought up, another major example where your word is your bond having a very, very important ramification that I find as well is through marriage, right? A lot of marriages fail because either party, right, make promises, agree to things, but they don't fulfill it. They don't fulfill their part, right? So what's one of the biggest things that, especially with the younger generation, where it can go good or bad depending on how you are, is the time you spend with your spouse versus the time you spend with your mates, right? So you might promise your wife, I'm gonna give you Friday nights. Friday nights is our night, we'll kick it together, right? But then if every other week you're like, hey, can we reschedule tonight? She'll let it slide. But then later on, when you're like, this is what we're doing, she won't really take it serious anymore. Your value, the value of your word has lost meaning, and I think you can also agree with me on that one there.
Yeah, no, absolutely, you're right. And I think probably just to stretch that example a little bit further, you know, if you say Friday night I'm kicking it at home, it doesn't necessarily mean you're just away from your boys and you're just at home watching TV. You know, like you're actually
together.
Exactly, like you're sitting together, you're getting to know each other, and that's basically what it is. Like it's that quality time rather than just a quantity. But yeah, you're right. If you promise something to your spouse and you fulfill it, I think your spouse will always look and try and trust you, so that if there is ever a time
where you need to make a hard decision,
when you need or you fail, if there's a time where you fail, then obviously they're going to give you that benefit of the doubt. You know that he always keeps his promises. This one time he failed, there was a reason. Khalas, no worries. You know, then it's not going to hurt as much. But if you keep compounding that hurt continuously, then eventually it's just it's gonna break.
And that one time where you do make an important, like people don't see the severity. For example, like, you know, I'm gonna wash the dishes tonight before I go to sleep. She wakes up tomorrow, the dishes are still there. Tomorrow, second night, third night, I'll take out the garbage. You feel that? I'll go do the grocery shopping. You feel that? These little things, right? And then when that one time where you say, yo, like there's this big thing, and yo, leave it to me, I'll take care of it. She's not gonna have that trust in you to take care of it.
You couldn't take out the garbage. Why are you gonna do
this
for me? Yeah.
So yeah, sorry, go on.
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah, your word is your bond. Like it's a bond that you. It's not just like the way we're presenting it is that your word is a representation of who you are, right? But it goes a bit further than that. It's in the sense that you're committing to doing something, and if you don't put in the effort, then what you're saying is like the promise that I gave you, it's meaningless. I give these promises and it doesn't mean anything.
But it's not just that.
Do you know what I mean? Like you are the controller of this value of these words that you give.
Yeah.
And what you're doing is you're devaluing them.
Yeah.
You know, every time you give a promise and you don't fulfill it, then you're devaluing it. You know? And even in the Quran it says لِمَ تَقُولُونَ مَا لَا تَفْعَلُونَ. Why do you say that which you do not do?
Yeah.
Like, you know, it makes no sense. Why would you say it? Like, if you can't do it, say I can't do it. Like that in itself is acknowledgement. Like you're actually saying I cannot actually fulfill this.
Which is much better.
And even then, why can't you say I will try, but there's a chance that I won't be able to succeed. You know? So at least you've given yourself an option here to say that, look, hey, I'm not going to guarantee anything to you. It's just like at work. If you're at work, and this is the problem, I think. Sometimes when it comes to like us and how we deal with people who, and you guys are both right, the situation, you know, and also the person. So sometimes we're in a situation and the person is very important, right? And we make every effort to make sure that we keep that promise, you know, whether we say, yes, we're going to hand in this report. Yes, we're going to complete all of these orders. Yes, we're going to do whatever it is, the task that you've been given. You will make every effort to make sure that it's fulfilled. But when the person is your mom or your wife or your child or your friend or your brother, and you make that promise, you won't put in the same 110%.
You're right.
Yeah.
Because it's the person, or because the promise that you've given is not as important, you know, because you feel like what you're doing benefits them more than it benefits you. But in reality, what it is you're fulfilling that promise and it benefits you more.
Yeah.
But like I like how you said, like it defaces, you're devaluing your word.
Yeah.
But you're not just devaluing your word, is you're devaluing the person's time. Because like I said, if we're making a promise, if I make a promise between us, we're doing something together. We needed this together. That's why we're having this promise. And me telling you, like with you two, you spent a half a day, you wasted some time, whatever it is. You're pretty much saying that time that you had, I don't really value it that much. Because for me, I look at, like you said, are you putting in, you know, the niceties? Are you calling in and you saying, you know, oh, I'm coming late? That means that's you telling me that I appreciate what you're doing. Like, I'm sorry, some mix-up happened. I'm trying to make it right. Like, you value my time.
He was hammering on me today, man. I feel bad, man.
I got it. There's no direct attack.
There's no direct attack.
Even when you're talking, like, sorry to cut you off. Even when you're talking, you're like, when you promise your boss something, and then you promise your mom, and I was like, man, astaghfirullah, how many things I promised Hoya I didn't pull.
No, but see, that's the whole point. Like, is for us to learn. It's not a direct.
Yeah, and you know what the funny thing is? if you don't fulfill a promise that you've promised to your mum, and if you don't fulfill a promise that you promised to your boss, both of these people will look at you different because of the way that you've continuously fulfilled or haven't fulfilled the promise. So your mum is going to say, that's Elmi, it's okay. Whereas your boss will say,
what's wrong with Elmi?
What's wrong with Elmi? You know,
bro, I don't.
And I think that also adds to the ability to do this. You know what I mean? Like the fact that, okay, my friend will still be my friend, whereas the boss probably fire me the next day. You know what I mean? It's very deep. It's very deep in that sense.
That's true.
But not only that, the final thing that I would want to add is, it's not only just your bond, but it's also what you give because you're gonna meet new people day in, day out, right? And I think that's, the way I work is if I meet somebody, I automatically allocate a certain amount of trust to them, right?
Yeah.
They haven't proven me wrong.
Trust,
basic level of trust, right? Now, their word will hold some value until I see it slipping and cracking, right? Because that's the first thing you come in contact. When this person says, yo, I'll do this for you, I'll be there, whatever. The fact that they pull through first, whether they've done what you needed them to do or whatnot, those initial, how should I say, interactions come through word, right? Because there's nothing else that we share in common, whether it's at work, whether it's a friend, whether it's travel, whatever it is, right? And then, as you said, whether the person keeps their word or not really adds or takes away from the trust level that I have for them. And then that is what essentially brings this person in closer to a friend than pretty much a brother, you know what I mean?
And I think that happens in a community as well. So if someone's doing that to multiple people, he becomes that guy
the boy who cried wolf.
Yeah, and then the opposite way, but that's that trustworthy guy. Yeah. We all know we can leave our stuff with him. You build this reputation, and the good things happen to you. Like if you're someone that's always punctual, someone's always this, and you're at, I was at work once, and they said, look, we need to hire more people. If you got anyone that you want to bring in, we'd rather have that come in first. Yeah. Who's the first people I'm thinking of? Not the people that's coming late all the time, because that's my reputation on the line at work. Yeah. If I say, bring this person in, and I know they're not hard workers, I know they're not punctual, I know they're not that, that's my word goes down now. But automatically, the person that does that, they just get put into better situations just because of their character, which is, it's a character.
Right. I think the key here is more just the consistency, because I think everybody will keep their bond when it comes to a certain situation or a person, right? The key is to be consistent across the board, no matter who it is, whether it's someone young, whether it's someone old, whether it's someone you barely know, or it's someone that you've worked with for a very long time, or it's a close friend, and you feel like they're not going to care as much if you let them down. You just have to make sure and try and this is probably a reminder for me first before anyone, is that you try and keep your bond, your word across the board, regardless of who that person is, because you want to have that unified opinion of you when it comes to keeping your bond. You don't want on the day of judgment, somebody say, no, this guy promised me this, but he didn't fulfill it, or and you don't. Because you have the angels riding on the on your shoulders, So whatever promises you keep, those are
don't make the promises you can't keep.
Not only that, the one thing I'd also add to that is people will keep their word towards you as well. If you're somebody that's breaking their promise all the time, then people will also be a bit shaky towards you, or they won't be willing to. He's
always late.
Right? But if this person is always fulfilling the promise, no matter what, come rain, hail, or sunshine,
we'll pull through for them. Everybody
will pull through. Whoever makes you that promise, without you knowing, automatically wants to fulfill it 100% because they know that you would do the same. You know what I mean? And if I know Elmi, flopped it today, tomorrow I might flop it on him. You know what I mean? But then say I make a meeting with you, and you're always on time, right? I'm gonna make sure that I get there 2 minutes before you. You know what I mean? And that's the way I would look at it.
I just can't stress enough, but don't make the promises you can't keep. And a lot of people make promises that they think they can keep, like, if a promise is like something that has to be done in a month, I will be able to do it, or I'll be able to cope. It's like, you sure? Like, make it if you know you are someone are you someone that's actually doing the steps Are you someone that takes the steps to make those goals to make that happen? Or are you someone that knows you could do it, so you're making that promise? You know, so make sure you make the promises that you know you can keep. And then, like Omar Hassan said, just don't make the promises or say like, I'll try. I'll try to make it tomorrow.
I think it's more just don't overextend yourself, because you should always try and find a way to assist the next person. Even if it's going out of your way, sometimes putting yourself at an expense, but don't overextend, don't over like commit, because then it just becomes too difficult, and then you haven't helped the person. In fact, you made it worse, and you didn't keep your promise. So it just it's not that great. So yeah, you're right. A big portion of it is holding your tongue, but yeah, also not overcommitting.
Elmi, would you like to add anything?
I ain't gonna make no more promises no more, man. Hell.
No, see, that's not the message you want to put through.
Like,
it's not don't make promises.
Like,
it's make promises, but don't.
First things first, I'm talking to myself. Today I've worked. You guys opened my eyes today, man. Your word is your bond is so important, bro. Like, I forget about that sometimes, no worries. Because you're in the moment. I live in the moment, You're in the moment. That moment you feel
motivated.
You can do it. And you had a good point from not overstretching and overworking yourself. And you think, you know what, I can bear that. I can take that on the shoulder, And then when the time comes, it's just like, whoa, why did I take that? And then it's, you didn't help yourself, you didn't help the brother or the sister or whatever in the situation. So first lesson I've taken before the views is, better watch what I say. What promises I make, you know what I mean?
I think the biggest
first things
one is
first to my mother, But
when somebody moves houses, for example, and he rings up everyone, everyone will gladly say, "Yeah, no worries, I help you move. No worries, inshallah, I help you move."
It's a different thing on the day.
Yeah, no one rocks up on that day. I think so the message that we want to put across is, yes, say you will help, but be reasonable and realistic in how much you can help.
Yeah,
like. If you don't have the time to actually commit, then say, inshallah, I'll help you with like maybe $100 or $200, that might be able to feed whoever you've got on site that can help you, or say, I can't help you the whole day. I can come for 2 hours, and just tell me where to show up and when,
And if you stay longer, it's a bonus. And if you can't make it at all and you've made the promise,
when
let the person
know.
When you know, because the most frustrating one is like
don't realize on the day and be like, I'm not coming through today.
I gotta get it off. This happened last week. I was meeting a mate after work. And
was it me? Was it?
No, it wasn't me. You've been off work, so you're good.
That's good.
And so I pretty much rock up, and the guy was about like 40 minutes late. And so I was like, "Oh, what happened?" He goes, "I had to do extra time at work." I was like, "Oh, that sucks." So they pulled that on you last minute. He goes, "Nah, they told me at the beginning of the shift." And I was just like,
"Where's my heads up?"
Like that. See, the 40 minutes didn't bother me. Like, you late at work, I'm good. I'm gonna let that slide, you know. But the fact that you knew and didn't say something, that's what I was kind of like.
See, but then if that happened 2-3 times,
and
he knew at the beginning of the shift all 4 times, then it's like, what's going on? But if it happened 4 times, but each time he let you know as soon as you know.
Oh yeah, there'll be a 5th time.
You know what I mean?
I think lately, I don't know, like generally I've started sort of double checking. I always double check just to put myself sort of at less risk, you know, of having my time wasted. If I ask somebody, look, can you come on this day? A day earlier, I would message him and say, yo, you're still all right? They'll say, yeah, no worries. An hour earlier, before the appointment, you still coming? Yeah, no problem. 5 minutes before, I'll say, let me know when you're on the way or something, that way I've double checked 3 times, and yes, this guy's confirmed, or this person's confirmed 3 times that yes, they are going to do it.
I pity the person that breaks that word to Omar.
But
after he's double checked 3 times.
No, because some people like him, for example, his mate, they might not let you know ahead of time. So it's always worthwhile to sort of double check, sort of save yourself that headache. But if you're the one that's giving the headache, then in that case, make sure you give a heads up.
Definitely.
No, I think for the people who have actually like always 100% punctual and their word is their bond, bro, I'll give it up to them, bro. That's not easy. It's not an easy characteristic to have, man. It's not easy. It's very hard, bro.
It takes everything that we've discussed today and like compiles all together. It's knowing when to give your word. When you do give your word, make sure that you actually do pull through, and if you can't, then let the person know as soon as possible. We don't live in a time where you've got to write 3 days to go meet the person. A simple text message. What I don't understand is people that say, "Oh, I didn't have time to call you." brother, you have time to sit down 2 minutes and
Send a
send a
message.
text.
Yeah.
You know, you've got time
Bro.
to eat. You've got time to, you know.
I'm so late. I've had appointments, say 10:40. They told me to come. The appointment's 10 o'clock, bro.
10:40?
10:40, bro.
You should do
I
this.
swear to God.
Rewind his time about. Like
I don't
20
want my
minutes
time,
in.
bro.
Let's do that.
yeah.
It's just
No,
bro.
but see, Elmi, it's
It's just fun
like
for
he
him.
said, he's it's what he wants. Like
Nah,
there's
bro.
certain things
bro,
you call him
yeah,
for,
brother,
and
not
he'll be
get
on
into
time.
tell me, you know me, bro. If you tell me I need help moving or anything like,
Yeah,
like
for
that,
you,
I'll
it's
be
the,
there,
it's the case
100%.
whether it's
Yeah.
really
If
important or not.
If
You
I'm not
judge-
working, I'll
Yeah.
be there 100%.
Yeah.
Lakin,
If it's
kick
other
back.
stuff, yeah.
Skarali how? I need to change my in
No
English.
worries, brother.
Yeah, my apologies. I need to
think
change
from now
my,
on,
you know what I mean?
Any issues I got with
Bring it
anybody,
up
I'll
on,
just
yeah?
bring it up.
You're gonna bring it on the table?
Yeah, that's it. That's
Nah.
it, man.
But
Make it
mashallah, man,
personal.
that's been a very, very enlightening topic for all of
bro.
us.
Alhamdulillah.
May Allah make us benefit the information that has been shared,
I mean,
and may you guys benefit from it too. And hopefully you guys will be better in keeping your word, and let the people around you know about all the information that was shared here, inshallah.
Sure.
Until next week, catch you then, inshallah.